Hey, everybody ready?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Assistant Chief Skylar Belot, SCHUYLER BELOTT. All right, I'll give you a brief statement, then we'll go into a few questions. Fire department was called for a report of a potential substance in an office. We responded with our hazardous materials team and then began our investigation. As I said initially, it's kind of a deliberate process based on the condition of the individuals in that office. We felt comfortable having the rest of the employees in the building shelter in place while we investigated. We checked in with those employees throughout the time while we set up and established our plan. None of their conditions changed that caused us to have any concern for their welfare, where we'd have to expedite our investigation or going into the building to rescue anybody. There was at no time any emergent circumstances where we felt like we had to go in and make that quick rescue. So that's why we had this kind of drawn out process. But again, as I said earlier, with the HAZMAT response, it's a deliberate process where we're methodical and we make a plan and execute it. We started off by evacuating 4 people from one of the offices. We brought them outside, decontaminated them through our decontent, and then transported them to a hospital for evaluation. As far as I understand it, we did not have any symptoms from any of the individuals that were involved. It was just a matter of precaution. After that, we sent our HAZMAT team back in with a second team to begin the investigation into the substance. They went in with metering equipment to test for any radiation, explosives, chemicals, things of that nature. Through that process, they did not find any evidence of anything that would have been dangerous. Essentially after that, we deemed that there was no hazard in the building, and we're currently in the process of allowing people to leave the building.
Who initially made the call?
I'm not exactly sure. It may have been the individuals in the office themselves as they found what they believed to be a potential hazard.
Where did they find that hazard?
It was in their office. They opened up a letter.
They opened up a what? Like an envelope?
Yeah, they had an envelope that they had opened up, and they, during that process, were unsure if they believed there to be a powder of some sort. But again, after we tested items, we found no evidence of that and no hazardous materials.
We got a tip from the U.S. Secret Service that it was a white substance.
The report was essentially that there may have been a powder in an envelope, but through that investigation, that was not the case.
Which room was it?
I wouldn't be able to say. It was just one of the offices.
Was it 572?
I don't have that information.
Was there any note in the envelope? Was there any kind of message?
Yeah, there was nothing in there that led us to believe there was any threat. There was nothing that caused us to have any concern. It just, with the nature of things in our times, out of an abundance of caution, if somebody believed that they saw some powder, no matter what the nature of the letter is, those things get reported.
Can you tell us what the envelope was addressed to, or there's a letter?
I'm not
inside the
exactly sure.
envelope?
It was essentially a letter inside of an envelope, but the specifics on that I'm unclear right now.
It was like baby powder?
We found no evidence of a powder, so without having the individuals that made the initial report, we can't say exactly what it was.
You didn't find anything?
What we can confirm is we've tested the materials, we tested throughout the office, the envelope, the letter itself, and there was nothing found to be of any hazard.
How many people were inside sheltering in place when this happened?
I don't have that number. That would be something for the other folks in the building, and I don't believe they're going to be making any statements today.
They opened up an envelope and they saw powder, and then when you guys arrived, you didn't find any powder?
As I understand it, the individuals found or what they felt or thought they saw a powder or something to that effect. And like I said, out of abundance of caution, being a federal building, I believe they just made the notification just as a precaution.
What time did the call in, and how long have you been on scene here?
I can get that information for you when we wrap up. I'll look it up. I have the CAD information.
Is everyone able to leave the building now?
Yep, we're in the process now of notifying everybody in the building that they can evacuate. They're working on ensuring that the people that have been inside waiting are notified of that and have the ability to do so. And we're in the process of returning our companies on scene ourselves.
So officially it's all clear. The substance is not toxic. You don't know why someone sent powder in an envelope. You have no idea what.
We don't believe that we didn't find any evidence to suggest that there was a powder. Like I said, what happened or the nature of that, I can just say that our hazmat team, through testing and investigation, did not find a powder. We didn't find anything that was toxic. We didn't find anything hazardous.
Wait, so they reported that there was powder, but there actually was no powder?
Again, I couldn't say what the individuals that made the initial phone call saw or experienced, but what we can, through our investigation and our testing and metering in the room, we did not find that evidence. Being in a federal building, there's certainly the idea that out of a precaution, just with the circumstances and where things are nowadays, obviously things in the mail for years has been kind of on the radar. And if they weren't sure, I would just imagine that out of an abundance of caution, those individuals decided to make the notification. And once that notification is made, we treat them all seriously and we come out to do our investigation.
You said you evacuated 4 people and decontaminated them. What is the process of decontaminating them?
Essentially, as we remove people from any environment that we believe has the potential for, because we get the people out prior to doing our testing. As they come out of the building, we have a portable shower system where we contain them, rinse them off, collect their items and clothing and bag that up, and then we transport them from there. So that if there was anything left on their clothes, it's secured and can be tested or investigated further.
So just to be clear one more time, there was a call that there was some suspicious powder. There was concern. You reacted appropriately to that concern, and when you got there was no powder. You checked for anything else, and there was no drug.
Yes, we received.
When she opened it, it went airborne?
The assumption is the individuals that opened it believed that they saw something that caused them to believe it was a powder or a substance. Again, without having spoken to them directly, I couldn't say exactly what they saw. I can just speak to kind of what that initial report was we received via dispatch.
But you found absolutely nothing.
We found nothing in there that led us to believe there's anything toxic, hazardous, or anything of that
Was
nature.
it an employment?
The individuals that we evacuated were employees of the building, as I understand it.
Who made the call?
I don't know specifically. I couldn't say for sure.
You know who was named inside?
I don't know. I can just speak to the fact that we got a call that there was a potential for a hazardous material that was maybe in an envelope or something to that effect, and we responded.
Will there be further investigation? Who will be leading that investigation?
We've essentially wrapped up what we're doing here as the fire department. Any further investigation of the matter is going to be managed by the folks within the building, which I believe we have. Yeah, it's all the federal agencies. So they were part of this with us as well, as it was their building and their employees. But again, we've determined through that process that all is clear and there's no hazard.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Is there anybody left in there?
There's probably still some people in there that are working their way out. It's a rather large building, but I didn't know how many people were there when the call originally came in. And then I'll look up the information for when we got the original call for you. Give me just 1 second. We were originally dispatched at 2:15 p.m. and we are just wrapping up now. Essentially, our all clear was made within the last.
For a few hours for nothing to be found.
Well, again, we take all those reports seriously, whether it's a barrel in the alley or something floating in the lake or something in somebody's basement. So, again, it's a deliberate process where we don't want to rush in and put additional people at harm's way. So, it's sort of the nature of a hazardous materials response.
Great.
So.
Thank you.